Hi, I'm Hannah. Welcome back to my channel, Mostly Paper Crafts. Lots going on this week. So excited that you're here watching the journey. You know, it's fun to see before and afters, but I think it's also fun to see the in-between, and you're going to see a lot of that in this week's video. Something I forgot to share with you in the last video is my map of the room. I'm a geometry teacher, so I'm very visual, and I'm really not leaving anything up to chance with this project because there's just too many moving parts. So I drew out a map of what I want my organization to look like on graph paper so it's to scale, and made copies of it so that I could do a couple of mock-ups if I changed my mind and didn't want to try to erase all of the things that I'd written. So I'm going to share those with you. First up, we have the cabinets and counter, and my favorite part of this is the long shelves for my rubber stamps, and the idea is to use long strips of molding for that. The molding that's in an L shape so I can easily attach it to the wall and then have a little ledge. I've picked out all the things that are going to go on the countertop, everything that's going to go into the lower cabinets, and I still have time to change my mind about any of this. But by having it mapped out before I start putting things just anywhere, I think it's going to save me a lot of time and effort. You can see here I filled in the closet area, and doing this ahead of time helped me figure out what things I could reuse and what I needed to purchase. And I highly recommend, if you're doing a big project like this, you do make a map of how you want things to look to help you see what do you need to order, what do you have that's already useful. Last but not least, we have the 2 paper towers, and this shelf has 5 shelves. That's going to be in the corner. I am going to have 2 small shelves as a vanity, and here's my desk with the organization that I'm planning underneath. I don't think I'm going to go through and put what colors of paper I'm going to put in the tower, and I haven't finished figuring out what I'm going to be putting on these shelves, but I have a pretty good idea overall of where everything's going to go now. I promise I didn't post them like that, but they're hungry. So Monday, here's what's left to do. Quite a lot. I need to get all of this stuff out of this room and the rest of the stuff off the walls so that we can rip up the carpet this weekend and paint. I've started going through some of my craft supplies, and these rolls of corrugated cardboard are supposed to be adhesive, and I noticed they're not so adhesive anymore, and they take up a lot of space. So I'm going to cut the different colors down into 6-inch pieces. I may not even keep all of it, but I think it'll be a lot more space efficient to just have a few pieces which I can clip together, than all of these giant rolls. And I'm going to need to make some decisions like that, as well as getting rid of some supplies if I want everything to fit neatly in the new room. I picked up this table for $10 at Ross last night, and I think it's going to look great with my covered desk, and it's going to be a nice little extra work surface because sometimes when I'm working there's just too many things on the desk. So if I had this off to the side when needed, I could put maybe the box of stamps I'm using or something like that, free up some desk space. Something else I started thinking about was my poor kitty who likes to sit beside me when I craft, and the chair that I usually let him sit on is the chair I usually sit on. So I sit on the ball while he sits on the other chair. Well, the chair was broken in all of this, and so it's going out for bulk trash, and poor little Lukey Duke is going to need a spot to sit, so I just ordered him a cat tree. I can't imagine why he's not happy just sitting on the floor with the dogs. Almost everything's out of the closet except for the cat, and that means it's scattered throughout the house. Things are looking pretty chaotic all over these days. Here's a peek into the future comic book room and all the lovely things that are in here at the moment. Here's a look at all the stuff in the living room and the current garage situation. So I've got all of my new stuff out here, as well as the things I'm getting rid of. And my new chairs are over on this pile for some reason. But yeah, there's chaos all over the house. All of the moving stuff around seems to be stressing my dogs out, but my cat loves it because he keeps finding new holes to crawl into and things to climb, and he's having a ball. Poor Coleman doesn't know what to think. It's Thursday night. Almost everything is out of the room. My plan is to finish getting everything out by tomorrow night, so the carpet can be ripped out on Saturday, and then it's time to paint. Friday night, just a little tiny bit left. We got our new cat tree. Luke seems to be enjoying it. Needed to get him a place to perch up away from the doggies. Tomorrow morning I'll be getting the rest of the stuff out of here, pulling the screws and nails out of the wall, start patching up all these holes. We'll pull out the carpet, and then it'll be time to paint. Saturday morning, I just finished moving all of my stuff out of here. Obviously the desk and the tools I need for the next step are here, but everything is out. I pulled out all the screws and nails, and now it's time to figure out how to get this shelf out. I started hitting it with a hammer, and looks like there's some nails holding it down, so that doesn't seem like too big of a deal. Although I noticed on this side, there's about 30 nail gun holes. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it doesn't tear up this board because I am planning to keep this shelf. Left side is coming out really easily, not too much effort at all. This side is sticking. Really don't know what's gonna happen. My ridiculous reality of the moment is that I need to push with both hands as high as I can and then try to pull it and swing it out of the closet out here, which is all fine. My only concern is there's so many nails sticking out of this thing and it's kind of heavy. So I'm gonna give it a try, and if it feels too dangerous, I'm gonna wait for Jared to get home. I've decided I 100% can do this by myself, but Jared will be home in just a couple of hours and we'll be able to do it much more safely, and I won't have to go get a tetanus shot. There's spackling everywhere. I moved into this house in 2010, so it's been a while. And we picked this paint color when we first moved in. When I say we, I don't mean me. I don't like green. But this room has been an office that's taken on many different forms in the last 11 years, and I guess I've made a lot of little holes in the wall. I've been debating since the beginning as to whether I should keep these metal tracks for the wooden closet doors and the piece of trim that goes here. I really don't have any interest in turning this back into a closet while I'm living here, although I've considered about when I eventually sell the house, would I want to try to put the closet back together. So the big wooden doors that were here when I moved in are still in the garage. It would be really nice to be able to get rid of them. And I think if I take down the metal tracks, I'd be more likely to say, well, can't put them back up anyway, and then I can just get rid of all of it. It also gives me a couple more inches of clearance if I take down that trim piece and the tracks. I just don't know what it looks like underneath all that, and I hope that I'm not opening up a whole brand new terrible project. Hopefully it's just a nice flat piece of drywall that's finished. The track is down. It was very simple to just unscrew the screws that were holding it up, and now to take down the molding piece. We knew disaster was going to strike at some point. At least here you can see how much more clearance there's going to be. I pulled down half of the strip and it broke, which is fine. I don't really need to work with a 10-foot long piece of trim that has a bunch of nails sticking out of it. What a mess. I don't even know the best way to attack this, but it's worse over here because this wood strip on the wall has a nice big gap, so I've got to figure out how to fill that in as well. And I don't know, this just wasn't really part of the plan. The molding is not coming down without a fight, and it's taking down some of the drywall and it's cracking it, and I really regret this now because it is going to be a whole thing to get it repaired. I'm pulling down the wood pieces that held up the shelf, and this is chipboard, and it's literally just falling apart as I'm prying it off the wall. That doesn't seem like too much of a disaster, and I'm thinking now maybe I can find a nice L-shaped piece of trim to go over the edge of this and just cover up all of that exposed metal here and to fix all of the drywall cracks. One last look at the carpet before I cut into it. I've never pulled up carpet before, so this is going to be another learning experience. Since I have no idea what I'm doing, the first thing I did was watch a YouTube video which suggested cutting the carpet into strips with a sharp knife, which seems like a good idea. So you're gonna roll up small pieces and not a whole room full of carpet, which will be hard to manage. But I'm not excited about the tack board because there's a lot of nails in it. And then I started pulling up the pad, and it's really not too bad, but it is glued in some places, so hopefully it's not too much of a pain to deal with that. The tack board I'm really just concerned about because of my animals, and I don't know how long it'll be once I pull up the carpet before I can get all the tack board up, so I'm gonna have to keep them out of here for a while. What I've learned so far is that I need a pry bar. This little hammer is not cutting it, and pulling up these tack strips, I think it took me almost 10 minutes to get this far. That's not going to work for the whole room. And yeah, I think this is my least favorite thing out of the project so far. It's actually kind of nice having the carpet out and seeing this black mat because this is about how dark the floor will be. And it gives me a little preview as to what the floor will look like. Jared just got home and helped me haul out the carpet rolls. We need a pry bar and a big scraper to get the rest of this off the floor, but then that'll be done. He also helped me get down that long shelf, which was much safer with the second person. I'm glad that I waited. And I've had a little bit of time now to think about this situation, and I actually have an idea that I think is gonna make it even better. I'm gonna put a board that's a little bit wider than this all the way across it. It's about 10 feet long. And so it's gonna be longer and come out on this side here. And then we're gonna put another little board as a lip. So it's gonna be like one long picture shelf. And I can use that to display pictures and cards. And I have a lot of wonderful friends who send me cards and things. I think that'll be a nice place to put them. But here's one more look at where we are right now. And I'll have another update for you next week.